Good day, ma'am. My name is Kizaya Hyacinth Abelia, and I study financial management. So I will discuss to you the chapter 2, Nature and Effect of Obligation. In Article 1171, responsibility arising from fraud is demandable in all obligations. Any waiver of an action for future fraud is void. According to time of commission, fraud may be past or future. The fraud referred to in this article is the fraud that refers to the fulfillment of an obligation, rather than the fraud which is the origin of the obligation. So there are two different articles refer to two different frauds or dulus. Dulu causante or causal fraud, article 1338. So like for example, Kayla entered into a contract to deliver 500 kevans of rice to Noel with a price per kevan of 1,300 pesos. Kayla delivered 400 kevans but withheld the delivery of the remaining, stating that the price went up in the rice to 1,600 per kevan. The fraud here is duly incidental because it is committed to the existing contract. Number 2 is duly incidente or incidental fraud, article 1144. Example, Kayla enter a contract to deliver 500 kevans of rice to Noel with a price per kevan of 1,300 pesos. Kayla delivered 400 kevans but withheld the delivery of the remaining, stating that the price went up the rice to 1,600 per kevan. The fraud is duly incidental because it is committed to existing contract. And article 1172, responsibility arising from negligence in the performance of every kind of obligation is also demandable, but such liability may be regulated by the courts according to the circumstances. In determining the liability of a party of damages resulting from his negligence in the fulfillment of contractual obligation, the courts have the discretionary power to moderate the liability according to the circumstances of the case. However, this mitigation of damages is applied only to liability arising from the culpa, as there is no deliberate intention to cause damage or injury, as against fraud, where there is a deliberate intention to cause damage. Example is if a passenger was himself is negligent, then the liability of the common carrier due to the negligence will be reduced. So in article 1173, the fault of negligence of the obligor consists in the omission of that diligence rather, which is required by the nature of the obligation and corresponds with the circumstances of the persons, of the time, and of the place. When the negligence shows bad faith, the provisions of articles 1171 and 2201, paragraph 2 shall apply. If the law or contract does not state the diligence which is to be observed in the performance, that which is expected of a good father of a family shall be required. Meaning of a fault of negligence. Fault of negligence is defined by the above provision. Negligence is the failure to observe of the protection of the interest of another person. That degree of care, precaution, is vigilance which the circumstances justly demand, whereby such other person suffers injury. In determining the issue of negligence, the following factors must be considered. Number one is nature of obligation. And the example is smoking while carrying materials known to be inflammable, constitution negligence. Number two is circumstances of a person. Example is a guard, a man in the prime of life, robust and healthy, sleeping while on duty, is guilty of negligence. Number three, circumstance of time. Example is driving a car without headlights at night is gross negligence, but it does not by itself constitute negligence when driving during the day. Number three, circumstances of the place. Example, driving at 100 kilometers per hour on the superhighway is permissible, but driving at the same rate of speed in Ayala Avenue, Makati is gross recklessness. In Article 1174, except in cases expressly specified by the law or when it is otherwise declared by stipulation, or when the nature of the obligation requires the assumption of rest, no person shall be responsible for those events which could not be foreseen, or which, though foreseen, were inevitable. Classes of fortuitous events. As, as to origin of cause, number one event is fortuitous event. This refers to an event which is absolutely independent of human intervention. It is called an act of God. Number two, force majeure, forza major. This refers to an event caused by legitimate and illegitimate acts of person other than obligor. In brief, in force majeure, there is human intervention. As to foresee ability, number one, ordinary fortuitous events. These are events which ordinarily happen, or which could be reasonable foreseen but are inevitable. Number two, extraordinary fortuitous events. Those which do not usually happen and could not be reasonable foreseen. For example, fortuitous event distinguished from force majeure acts of man. Strictly speaking, fortuitous events is an event independent of the will of the obligor but not of the other human will, such as war, fire, robbery, murder, insurrection, and etc. In Article 1175, usurious transactions shall be governed by special laws. Usury is the contracting for or receiving something in excess of the amount allowed by law for the loan or use of money, goods, chattels, something that a person owns, other land or buildings. Example: furniture, tolls, or credits. In Article 1176, the receipt of the principal by the creditor without reservation with respect to the interest shall give rise to the presumption that said interest has been paid. Two kinds of presumption. Number one, conclusive presumption, one which cannot be contracted, like the presumption that everyone is conclusively presumed to know the law. Example: D owes C the amount of 10,000 pesos with interest of 15% a year. C issued a receipt for the principal. The interest was not referred in the payment, whether or not it has been paid. Number 2. Disputable or rebutable presumption, one which can be contracted or rebuted by presenting proof of the contrary, like the presumption established in Article 1176. Example: E is a lessee in the apartment of R, paying 5,000 pesos rental amount. E failed to pay the rent of the 5 months of February and March. In April, E paid 5,000 pesos and R issued a receipt that the payment is for the month of April. Article 1177. The creditors, after having pursued the property in possession of the debtor to satisfy their claims, may exercise all the rights and bring all the actions of the latter for the same purpose, save those which are inherent in his person. They may also impugn the acts which the debtor may have done to defraud them. In case the debtor does not comply with his obligation, the creditor may avail himself of the following remedies to satisfy his claim. Number 1, exact fulfillment. Number 2, pursue the leviable. And number 3, after having pursued the property in the possession of the debtor. An example: in the due date, D could not pay C his obligation in the amount of 400,000 pesos. However, D owns a car worth about 280,000 pesos and X is indebted to him for 40,000 pesos before the due date of the obligation. D sold his land worth 200,000 to Y. In Article 1178, subject to the laws, all rights acquired in virtue of an obligation are transmissible if there has been no stipulation to this contrary. Transmissibility of rights. All rights acquired in virtue of an obligation are generally transmissible or assignable. The exceptions to this rule are following. Number 1, prohibited by law. When prohibited by law, like the rights of the and partnerships, agency and commendation, which are purely personal in character. Number two, prohibited by stipulation of the parties. When prohibited by stipulation of the parties, like stipulation that upon the death of the creditor cannot assign his creditor to another rather. That's all. Thank you, ma'am.